Yes. Hope everyone can hear me. I'm just going to share this. Just a pretty simple slide, a couple of slides here that I've put together. Apologies. All right, so I hope everyone can see that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes?
Yes.
Assume so.
Yes,
all
we
right.
can.
Sorry, what was that?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Great. Just thank you for the opportunity. There's a few people in the room and online that I've met and haven't met. We are a family business established in 1995. We're essentially a toll processor, so the grower owns the product. We refine it into an internationally tradable unit, and then we shift it off. So our business has about 15 permanent staff that work throughout the year, and then we, employ another 30 seasonal staff when we start. When we're in operation, we run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And typically those are from the months of May through to October, November. I sort of started working in the business about 2007. In 2010, we were processing around about 25,000 bales of cotton. Last year, we processed around about 200,000 bales of cotton. So the reason around this is, that there's a huge amount of input in the CSIRO, and we have the Cotton Research Development Corporation, and that's really seen our industry be able to grow and continue to be viable against other countries with lower import costs, etc. around that. I was trying to remember, we did some hemp trials through our gin with Phil back in, I think, 2013 or 2014.
Correct.
Where he delivered some product to us. And then again, in conjunction with Stuart Gordon and the CSIRO, we went through the process of trialling it again. Results were relatively similar. I guess we have a bit more of an understanding of the product that was being delivered to us. And that was sort of, the underpinning of some of the results. We did this. So I guess why is this interesting to me in our business and potentially the cotton industry? Effectively, we're a seasonal business with a significant amount of capital investment, a lot of infrastructure on site. We can hold, I think last year we produced about 100,000 tonnes of raw cotton, which separates essentially out to 40% lint, 50% seed, and 10% trash. Now, again, there's money in trash, as we just heard. We're composting our trash, and it's a alternative food source for animals and things like that. So we're very much a similar sort of motto to the previous speaker, that there's money in trash. The big thing for us is we're looking at our site going, well, how do we utilize all this infrastructure that we have? So we're a site that's about 75 hectares. Our new facility is a shed about 100 meters by 30 meters. We've got road train, weigh bridges, automation at the weigh bridge, wheel loaders, lots of equipment that potentially we could see being utilised in the hemp industry. So I guess the big picture, what do cotton gins, and I'll just go through the process. So cotton gin is actually The word comes from cotton engine and was shortened. The cotton gin was developed by Eli Whitney in about 1918 something and was one of the causes of the Civil War in America, but that's a different thing altogether. So underneath us, so we're a single site, one of those 40 gins located in New South Wales, Queensland. Underneath us, we have probably about 120 growers that are growing cotton at any one time. So last year, the total area planted for cotton in, New South Wales, Queensland, Northern Territory and Western Australia was about 450,000 hectares of cotton planted. The big thing is essentially, we're a fibre company. Cotton gins have a significant amount of infrastructure already there. The opportunity to retrofit some of those existing facilities to allow the production of hemp is really attractive to some of these other organisations. Potentially a lot of the cotton gins that have been built in Australia were built in, early 90s, late 90s. So, potentially there's an opportunity to build more specific facilities on those sites. The big thing, the attractive thing for us is that, potentially, I believe in the area we are, there's an opportunity for 2 crops to be grown of hemp each year. And they fit in with our, the season with cotton that we're processing. The opportunity for our growers, is to offer them an alternative crop. We're talking about pretty sophisticated growers with significant amounts of infrastructure. So when we're talking about plant density, planting rates per hectare, configurations, there are multiple opportunities with the amount of equipment that the growers already have available to them. The big thing is offering a viable alternative crop. And when I talk about that is, having those markets set up downstream of them available to sort of sell into them. How we present or what how it is presented to the growers. All of these growers have agronomists working for them for 12 months of the year. There's obviously some agronomic benefits around growing hemp and the benefit to, soil and carbon and all those sorts of stuff inside the soil. So I guess the interesting thing for everyone sort of, watching this is based on the trials that we did with the CSIRO back in March 2022, we're pretty confident that we would be able to process up to 15 tonnes of harvested hemp delivered to us. So how was that delivered to us? They were essentially baled up into what I call jumbo hay bales. They were cut at 200 mil billets and it was left to rot for 14 days. So we did do some trials of other products that were sent to us and some already separated and unseparated from a raw product out of the field. We were pretty confident that we can do up to 15 tonnes per hour of this. I noticed Phil sort of spoke about moisture. I think some of the moisture we were getting was around about 20%. So inside the cotton gin itself, we suck everything through air. We have big burners that can remove moisture from the product, and then we have the ability to actually reintroduce moisture when we're actually baling or packaging the unit. So again, it's about getting an understanding of what the marketplace will tolerate, on that final product. So I guess the big thing for us was, whilst we tried smaller billets and different types, the beauty about the 200 mil billet was we were able to maintain that fibre length, and we were also able to maintain herd length. So we were talking about herd the size of your middle finger that was kept in, 100 mil lengths. I guess the beauty about that from me, from a production side of it, was it just allows you with a base product that then you can then go further and go, rightio, customer might request, 50 mil long pieces of fibre, or 20 mil long pieces of herd, etc., etc. So it was more about just being able to get that bulk product in, refine it, separate it, and then have the opportunity to refine it into those products that people would want. Again, as I said, so we were able to get it in jumbo hay bales, allowed for us to unload it simply. We have, fully gravelled, I think we've got 35 hectares of gravel pads that allows for it to be stored on site and then brought in for processing. The big thing is being able to go back to these growers and make it as simple and attractive as possible for them to look at that. Just, I guess, really simply, the cotton industry is fully supportive of the hemp industry. I spoke to Adam Kay, the CEO of Cotton Australia, about this prior to coming on this, and we're from our point of view, we're in a fibre industry. Anyone else that's in a fibre industry, there's an opportunity to work together with that. I guess one of the things, so in the Australian cotton ginning industry, we and growers, they operate under a BMP industry standard. Now, that's best managed practice. In part, it's a self-imposed industry standard that gives everyone sort of some parameters operating. And then internationally, BMP then fits into the Better Cotton Initiative, which is an international standard, where you start to see, Levi Jeans, H&M, all of these big multinational companies are now specifically buying these BCI accredited cotton bales, and which then flows back as a premium to the grower for allowing for them sort of complying with those standards. Once you get over, in New South Wales particularly, once you're talking over 30,000 tonnes worth of production, the EPA then steps in and says you need a EPA license, and that basically just governs you around emissions, particularly as we're using air to pull everything through the process. On the back end, we have cyclones, augers that discharge all the separated products into separate areas. I think, again, Phil might have mentioned about having the volume or the capacity to actually handle these products. And again, as I said, look, last year we processed over 100,000 tonnes of seed cotton. Basically, so one of the other interests for me is obviously being fibre is, if we were able to produce a fibre that could be blended with cotton, baled, and then sent to spinning mills across the world where garments are being made, et cetera, et cetera. So it's, how do we, from our interest is looking at, making a product that can fit in with all the infrastructure that is already there in those other fibre producing industries. I think there was a question about profitability. Cotton growers are generally in the order of $6,500 to $7,000 gross profit, $6,500 to $7,000 gross profit per hectare. So that's kind of where we're competing. The other aspect is that there's, again, agronomic benefits. So when we see growers not growing cotton, they're typically growing a winter crop, so wheat or some other crop. So to be able to fit in those rotations is probably one of the attractive things. The average size of our grower is about 150 hectares, and they all, about 60% of our growers have irrigation infrastructure to be able to, potentially grow hemp. WHS, again, we are all on the hook around WHS, and, one of our main mottos is, everyone that turns up to work should go home from work exactly the way they turned up. So again, that's one of the things that, we're really strong on WHS and making sure that, staff are safe, and, obviously there's some issues around dust and how do we manage those sorts of things. So that's sort of about it